One battle after another, or like one review after another. I'm sure someone has done that joke or something similar already before, but let's get in the review.
Rise and shine.
Bat an eyelash.
Good morning.
There are no hands on the clock
Why?
because they're not needed.
What time is it?
Fuck. You know, I don't remember that part. All right, let's just not nitpick over the passwords. This is Bob Ferguson. I was a part of the French 75.
Bitch, I felt like Tony Montana!
Steve Lockjaw just attacked my home. And I cannot remember, for the life of my only child, the answer to your question.
Maybe you should have studied the rebellion text a little harder.
I need to find my daughter.
Well, then call us back when you have the time.
Did you just...
So here we have One Battle After Another, directed by Paul Thomas Anderson, not to be confused with Paul W.S. Anderson, famously known for being the husband of Milla Jovovich. This movie, this action comedy here, is like just under 3 hours. Just under 3 hours. Going in, I remember seeing the trailer a couple months ago, maybe a little bit later, and thinking, oh, this looks pretty fun. You have Leonardo DiCaprio doing a slight, what sounds like Western or Southern accent, similar to Rick Dalton, his character Rick Dalton from Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. One of my favorite roles of his. And looks like he's doing some stunts, you know. The cast overall seems pretty solid. And I basically was like, oh, this is something I'll see at some point. Probably in theaters, but I'm not going to be in the big rush to see it. But then I heard it was based off a book, and more on that later, that the movie would piss off conservatives. So of course, I had to see it. I had to see it as quick as possible. And coming out of the theater, I'll say this is definitely my top 5. One of the better movies I've seen this year. I should say top 5 for this year. It's very fun. Well shot, great pacing. All the characters are just super great, fantastic. And it's a movie that's... if you watch my Eddington review, it's similar to Eddington in some ways, in terms of how it presents kind of our current political climate, particularly in its satire. A good comparison between the two is you can see how it shows how organized the left is, I guess you could say. I mean, French 75, the organization that our characters are in, is what the Trump administration, I feel like, claims Antifa is, even though Antifa isn't, an organization. So, you have French 75, which is an actual organization in this movie, and it's both very militant and organized. And they're attacking ICE facilities and financial institutions. You also have a neo-Nazi organization that is obsessed or uses Santa Claus as a code word that Sean Penn's character, Colonel Stephen J. Lockjaw, is trying to get into throughout the film. To me, that's one of the biggest similarities between Eddington and this movie, is how it satiricalizes Nazi cults and or just right-wing hysteria. But yeah, I digress on that point. The first 20 minutes of this film really did kind of take me off guard. It really shocked me. And I'm saying this even with the information of this movie potentially being political. I didn't, like I said from the trailer, I just thought it was a Leonardo DiCaprio action comedy. So we jump right into a detention center in the first 5 minutes of this film, at the Mexico and U.S. border, and it's French 75, getting the people out of there, and they're French 75s armed to the teeth. And you later have montages of Bob, played by Leonardo DiCaprio, and Perfidia, played by Tiana Taylor. And, it's the relationship scattered in a kind of, like I said, montage sequence while they're, like, planning sabotages and bank robberies and whatnot, all the militant action that they're doing, right? And this whole, like, 20-minute sequence to me, like I said, like how they're mapping out, or how they're mapping out different locations they're gonna go and infiltrate, and also how they're making the bomb devices and whatnot and all that stuff. That whole sequence really reminded me of two movies. One, which is later actually directly referenced in this film. First one is How to Blow Up a Pipeline, which is a heist like 70s style. Like, it's not, I don't think it doesn't take place in the 70s, but it's shot like a 70s action film. It's a heist movie, like I said, and it's based off a book that argues that, if I'm not mistaken, I haven't read the book, but if I'm not mistaken, it's a book that argues that property damage towards like gas and oil companies is self-defense because of how much they've contributed to climate change. So the movie just kind of takes its themes out of the book. It's, the book is more of a political thesis, when the movie is a heist movie, a action movie. Very good movie, well shot heist movie, and would highly recommend checking that one out if you liked this movie. Then the other movie, the opening sequence reminded me of, was the Battle of Algiers. Battle of Algiers, I think is the title, which is it's shot like a documentary, but it isn't a documentary. I always thought it was a documentary. That's how good how it's shot. It's pretty good. Which is a movie based off the Algerian War. So Algerians fighting against French colonial rule. And Bob's actually watching that movie while he's smoking a bunch of weed around the middle part of the movie, or right when the movie kind of picks up on action again. And I was pretty hyped when I saw it, when I saw that reference, because that's what I felt like that 20 minutes was. So when they have Bob's character literally watching it, I was like, I did the Rick Dalton meme. I did the Rick Dalton reaction gif in the theater. I was like, hey, I know that's the movie. That's the movie. So the pacing we saw in the first 20 minutes did slow down briefly as we get introduced to Perfidia's and Bob's daughter, Willa, played by Chase Infinity, who is now in high school. I think it said 15 years later. I don't remember the exact years, but she's still in high school. And this is the part of the movie where it lets us breathe a little bit. And I'm glad we get some of that brevity here until we eventually pick up the pace again. And it basically doesn't let go for the rest of the film. Basically non-stop the rest of the way. I'm not going to completely recap the whole plot. I'm assuming if you're watching this review, you've probably seen the movie. You should go see it if you haven't already. If nothing I've said so far has convinced you. But I'm going to kind of go through my favorite parts now. I think my favorite action part, at least one of my favorites, is probably the car chase, which is right at the conclusion of the film. And it's not like your traditional car chase scene. It's not Fast and Furious, with driving through the city or there's some sort of big set piece. It's actually very simple. It's a wide shot of the hills. I think they're in like New Mexico or Arizona, maybe Southern California. It's a wide shot of the hills, and it's on the single road, and all the cars are following each other, getting closer and closer, and and sometimes the cars just disappear under the horizon, and then they appear again, and then they're closer. I feel like you have to time that so perfectly when you're shooting that to make sure that it has that effect. But it's something so effective and simple. But it had me on the edge of my seat in a way that even regular car chase scenes that I've seen in other movies, almost you've seen so many of that, and they're cool. Don't get me wrong, I love a good car chase, but how they shot this particular action sequence of the cars, I thought was just, like I said, so brilliant. And it just had that wide shot, but it felt like the camera was on the road, if you ever played a racing video game, I don't know, Burnout or something like that, or Gran Turismo. There's some of the camera options you can do where it's you're in the front of the car, you're not driving in the car, you're at the front of the car, you don't even see your car. That's what it felt like. And it's just so simple, but just so effective. Another one of my favorite scenes or action sequences. I guess I should say this whole movie feels like an action sequence besides a couple parts. But the one scene where we get to the apartment complex with Benicio del Toro's character, Sensei Sergio, this part was really fun too. And what makes this fun, I feel like, is this part really showcases the comedy of this film while also blending in or just showing like actual chaos and things happening around the characters and how they're almost, you know, they're stressed about it, or maybe some are more stressed than others, but like you can tell that they're used to it, you know, and it just does a really fantastic job of, because during the scene there's a protest happening outside, and where the police sent someone undercover to throw a Molotov, so the police had a reason to start beating up protesters and arresting them. And all this is happening while Bob is on the run with Sergio, Sensei Sergio there. And they're in the apartment complex. Sergio's trying to get everyone on that apartment complex going through a secret like door to safety before the police come. It looks like maybe ICE is with them too. But while this is happening, Bob's on the phone arguing with the French 75 operators, which is probably my favorite comedic bit of the whole movie as well. Arguing with the French 75 operator about a secret passcode, because he's just trying to find where he's supposed to go get his daughter, because he knows that French 75 were able to rescue her from her high school, and he doesn't remember the passcodes. He's too high and drunk. And it's just a back and forth. It's just really, really fucking funny. But I think that this whole sequence just shows how crazy this is. Actually, like right after this too, when he finally gets off the phone, he gets the location. He's gonna go follow a group of like skater kids, and they're running on top of the buildings. And this was really unexpected, which is he doesn't make one of the jumps, and he falls through a tree, somehow survives, and then immediately gets tased and arrested. And it's just like, holy shit, what just happened? And I mean that in a good way. It's like, oh my gosh, this movie's a trip. But yeah, that whole sequence is really good too. But yeah, there's like so much in this movie that I really loved, and there's just like such a great pace throughout this film while blending comedy with action. You know, this isn't Marvel, any of the Marvel movies, you know, where they have a recipe and they do comedy and action, but like this is like just felt so different and such a good fresh breath of air, whatever the term is. I think lots of credit has to go to the entire cast, because I mean, this goes with all movies, but comedies I feel really rely on great chemistry and delivery. But you know, I like I said, I feel like you can apply that to almost any movie, right? But I think comedies, you know, you need a little bit special sauce to execute and be funny, right? Especially in a movie like this, which has a lot of you know, like darker tones, I guess you can say, or just more real shit that we've been dealing with if you live in the United States. You know, so right to the cast, I gotta shout them out. Cinematography is like just top notch. A lot of cool like shots with like showing like how tall like mountains are. And like I mentioned earlier, like that low camera shot on the road when the cars are driving. Actually, I failed to mention, wow, I can't believe it, that this movie was shot in VistaVision. So this is our second movie since The Brutalist. If you watch my Brutalist review, I talked about VistaVision a little bit in the kind of very quick overview of the history of it. And man, I just wish I had a VistaVision theater near me. I did watch this in Dolby. I preferred of the premium AMC theaters, and it was still very beautiful. I mean, I really noticed the quality of the VistaVision during the interrogation scene between Willa and Lockjaw, because in that whole like church that they're in, monastery, whatever it's called, the walls are all white, and you can just really see the film grain. You can just really see the film grain there, and it just has the depth to it, the shadows and the contrast. It's just so nice. All right, I think I'm gonna wrap it up here. I'm trying to get better at making these so long, but sometimes I yap more than others. It is what it is. But yeah, I don't really have any negatives about this film, really. I mean, I think there might have been a few fleeting moments where it moves just a little too quick, but it's an action movie, so I get it. And it's me being like super picky. Ouch, my elbow. It's me being super picky. I love the themes tackling, you know, white supremacy cults, like the Christmas cult there criticizes authoritarian states, police states, and of course it shows, you know, rebellion and revolution and the impact that can have on your relationships with people, whether, you know, in your organization or your personal relationships, and kind of the sacrifices that come with that. But yeah, what a film. I mean, what a flick. I hope to get this on physical at some point. I've gotten a couple steelbooks this year. I think this is the year I bought the most steelbooks. I've been just grabbing them as I see them. Every time I like a movie, I've been trying to grab them. But I need to slow down a little bit because it's just, they're expensive. They're like $40-$50 a pop, and so I need to slow down a little bit. But I definitely want to get this on physical. I need to get this one before government bans it. Or some shit. Oh, before I forget, so I mentioned at the start of this review, this is based off a book which is called Vinland by Thomas Pynchon. I heard a little bit about this from Matt Leck from the Majority Report with Sam Cedar, and he actually did an interview with writer Devin Thomas O'Shea on his show Left Reckoning, where they break down the book and Pynchon's general politics throughout his novels. It was a really interesting conversation. So if you're interested, definitely check that out. I'll put the link in the description. Their interview or their conversation, it gives some, I think, some interesting context to the politics of this movie, but just the kind of backstory as well. Like, the book, I guess, isn't... like, characters and whatnot are not the same. It's more just like in spirit, I guess, of what that book is about. So yeah, I'll put that in the description. All right, everyone's favorite time of the video, I think. I don't know. What is your favorite time of the review? Is it the beginning? Did you turn it off already? I don't know. But let's rank it. Let's rank this damn thing. So Letterboxd score, I'm gonna go with 5 out of 5. Then on the S through F scaling, like I've been doing all the other reviews. Man, so I gave Eddington an S, and I think I like Eddington just a bit more than this. Like, they're, in a way, they're like two different movies. Like, they're both have action, they're both comedic. You know, they're both talking about our current political climate. But like, this movie, I didn't have any negatives, you know, and on the one hand, Eddington made me reflect on my like personal politics, more particularly like through 2020. And, you know, one battle after another here, you know, I reflected again in a way, but maybe more in the present, like reflecting on what's happening in our present time, and more specifically with like the authoritarianism, the rise of fascism in this country. And it's also like how much is at stake, it feels like, and the risks that people take every day, especially when you're under the boot, you know? And yeah, it's just a different way of reflecting. I think I saw, you know, some people's opinions online where some people felt like this movie made them feel more doomery. Some people it made them feel almost more motivated. I'm kind of in between. I don't know. Like, it's just a movie where I'm like, maybe it's just because of, you know, the crackdown on on Jimmy Kimmel or whatever, and not just Jimmy Kimmel, but there's been a crackdown on freedom of speech the last. I mean, there's always been a crackdown. I feel like, you know, there's different examples of it, but especially in the last couple years, right? So I just thought about that. I think that's what like my context is with this movie. It's like, man, will a movie like this be made in 5 years? Will I even be allowed to do a review on it? I don't freaking know. But yeah, I digress. You know, I think this one's an S2. I mean, why not? think I said in my last review, which was Eddington, it's more fun to give S's out than, you know, be nitpicky about it. You know, movies are fun, films are fun. So yeah, S rank for one battle after another. So I think that's it. Thanks for watching. Hope you liked the movie. Hopefully you've seen it. If you haven't, and this review convinced you, let me know. Definitely go see it. Try to see it on, if you have a VistaVision theater near you, definitely check that out. Or IMAX or Dolby, whatever. Yeah, if you like this review, let me know what you thought in the comments. Drop a like, do all that fun stuff. Yeah, man, that's the review. So I'll see you again at the movies. Bye bye.